Guys, welcome to another case study interview. This is going to be super exciting because I'm with Blaine, so welcome, Blaine.
Yes, sir. How we getting on?
I'm super excited to have you here, bro. This is at the time of this recording, the highest case study result in the RSA community, which I'm super proud of. And you've worked incredibly hard to get here. This was absolutely not an overnight thing. There were so many challenges that we were laughing about before we hit the record button, and we're gonna go very deep into what happened, how you got here, all your main learnings. And I think if you watch to the end, you're gonna get a lot of valuable takeaways from someone who quite literally is the top 1%, if not the 0.1% of the high ticket sales space right now. And we'll have a lot to learn from Blaine. So let's go all the way back because we can start like when you met me and getting a high ticket sales, but I want to go a step before that because to
Cool.
go from earning $500 a week, I think it was, in construction work and laboring to 41,000 USD in 1 month is an insane jump. So I want to go all the way back before you met me and you found high ticket sales. Like what were you doing? What was life like? And yeah, take us back.
Yeah, 100%. So it's been a long journey to be honest with you. It's even been longer than the year that we've known each other. So it all started way back when I had some stuff go on in my life and I was in a phase where I was actually just rebuilding myself, whether that be physically, mentally, all that type of stuff. And I think during that period when I was like in that transition of kind of like putting the pieces back together for myself, I was obviously like exploring online, everything like that, but I never really done anything about it. And then I made a decision probably about 2 years ago that I wanted to do online fitness coaching because I had made quite a transformation myself from the point I was at till getting myself into really good shape, turning my whole life around, everything like that. So I was like, okay, cool. Let me explore helping other people with that. So I started doing a bit of TikTok, started making a few videos, all that type of stuff. And I started trying to get a few clients, but like I realized that I couldn't sell at all. And I
Yeah.
was just losing all these people. But I was still working construction at the time.
Mm.
And what happened was I got into an argument one day on the construction site and I got kicked off the site. And I was like, look, I was like, I'm never going back to do one of these jobs again. I was like, I'm going to go all in. And I'm like, whatever happens, happens. I don't care. But I'm going to literally just try my best to do this and see what happens. So
Mm.
I had a lot of time on my side. So I spent a lot of time researching, looking around. Realized that what I was doing, I hadn't got the skill set to progress at it. So I explored a couple of other programs. I met you, and then I was like, okay, this dude's dope. And the one thing I loved about you, bro, was like you were never ever like flashy throwing Lambos around or diamond watches or anything. You were straight up honest with me from the start. And you told me, you're like, bro, this is going to be super, super hard. It's not going to be easy. You're probably not going to get results for a long time. But if you stick to the plan, you do the process, you listen to what I tell you, you will get the results. And that stuck out for me a lot because you were completely different to everybody else that was like in your face. And I really,
Mm.
really like that. So yeah, I made the jump, joined, and haven't looked back since, bro.
And then you blinked and now you're here, 12 and a bit plus months later.
Nice.
I want to unpack what it was like joining the program and everything like that once you came in and we'll walk through your steps in high ticket sales. But before we do, I wanted to expand on two things there. Number one, the difficulty actually selling people when you can't sell and how difficult that is.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people watching the channel and these interviews, and I talk about this as a recurring theme, is when you try to start your own business, if it's like some type of service business model or it's an information company or coaching company,
Yep.
most people overlook the most difficult skill that you're going to struggle the most with when you have lack of experience, which is sales. Like a lot of the times, if you're getting leads and you're talking to people for your own business, whether it's SMMA or a fitness coaching business, it's like it's hard enough to get people on a call, but then to sell it with your limited experience and your skill level, it's like near impossible. And to get better, you have to have more interactions, and the interactions you're having are with most likely a lot of the time shitty leads,
Yep.
like from a TikTok page, for example. Like
Yeah.
those leads are going to be shocking to sell to, right?
100%, man. 100%. And it really is one of those things, like even the journey I've come on and like everything I've learned about online business from yourself, from the offers that I've been on, there's a lot to it. And it's all broken down into skill sets. But by far the most important one starting off is to learn sales. Because at the end of the day, it's generating the revenue, the money coming in, which is the most important. And then like I think the next thing after that would be marketing. But like you told me as well, that by working with these online companies, these online coaches, businesses, whoever it may be, you get to see the ins and outs of these businesses and see what it takes to actually run them. But like there's super, super important things, and by far, sales is the number one skill that you need for any online venture at all, especially starting off. Because yeah, really having a clue. It's an art. It really is an art in itself of actually how to have a conversation with someone, how to bring them from a journey from point A to point B and make them realize, okay, cool, I actually need to do something to get to where I want to be. And it really is a fine art.
I think that it takes hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, or at least 1,000 plus conversations minimum to
Easy.
get somewhat good, like to get somewhat decent, whether or not it's conversations with real life prospects or we'll dive in a bit later on like what you've done to get here in terms of training, which you've done some pretty insane stuff. And I resonate with how you've shown up. And that's why I've liked so much with your presence you've brought to the community. And it's why obviously the referral to opportunity that we got, which we'll talk about later on, was just a no-brainer because you are working as hard and showing up in the way you need to show up to get the skills required. So I really like that about you. But the other thing I wanted to touch on as well that you mentioned about the conversation you had on the construction site, and you had that moment where like you just didn't want to go back.
Yeah.
Um, was it like a personal conversation? Was it something that just got heated or a disagreement?
Yeah, so like yeah, like a disagreement, but like I was at a stage like I said, I had some things that go on in my own life that brought me to a point where like I'm a little bit older than most people. Like I'm 32, but like I was at a point where like I was like, okay, shit, man, like I need to take some form of action or I'm literally going to be like this the rest of my life. And like
Mm,
I always knew I was capable of doing more, but I just never really had a direction or I didn't know what to do or I didn't know how to get there. And I think sometimes I let that overwhelm me, whereas it's just like you always say, it's just like break it down into small steps and reverse engineer everything, you know?
mm.
But yeah, it was that moment where I was like, okay, cool. I was like, I'm just going to put it all on the line. And whatever happens, it happens. At least I actually tried to do something about it and I genuinely gave it 100%. And probably if I never had that moment that day on that site, I probably wouldn't be here, which is insane.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was the same. Like, I've told the story once or twice, but it's because, almost got fired from my job in retail, which again, is retail, was no biggie. But to me,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was at the time.
Of course.
It was a problem at a minor that could have been very major later on in life. Leaving my income and my livelihood in the hands of someone else. Like, I just didn't like that feeling at all. And I knew from that day moving forward when that happened that I had to do something of my own, whether it's a business or just become self-sufficient and
Yeah,
self-responsible in some way. Because I knew that I couldn't count on others to take care of me for the rest of my life. And I wasn't going to allow that either.
100%, man, 100%. I totally agree. But like, it's like that as well. Like, like I think it comes like when you have that realization, like you realize, like, okay, like how much do I actually value myself, Because like I always used to see like everybody, and I know like some stuff that you see on Instagram and all that type of stuff, it's all a fugazi as well, but it's about like, okay, cool. If I want to go here, I can go there. If I want to get this, I can go this. And it's about giving yourself that freedom because at the end of the day, I think everybody really does deserve that. But it all boils down to like what I said in that post, like 90% of the people will tell you that they want that stuff, but they don't really because it comes with a big sacrifice, It really, really does. And we can touch on a little bit of that as well. But
We will. We will. Because you've sacrificed a lot to get to where you've gotten. Um, I have all my top clients have, and that's what people just don't talk about. Like everyone deserves it, but you really need to take the actions that are required to make the sacrifices required. You can have it.
yeah,
Again, most people just aren't willing to do what's necessary. So we'll touch on once you join the training program,
yeah.
what were you thinking? Were you overwhelmed? Was there lots to do? Take us through like the different jobs that you've had that led you up into now.
Yeah, so joined the program. I always remember our onboarding call as well, bro, where you were just like to me, you were like, literally just follow the steps. If you have any questions, just ask me. I'm here to help. And it really was as simple as that. Like the way you broke it down and explained it to me, bro, like you can't make it any simpler, really. Like, you know what I mean? It's really just do the work. So yeah, so started off, obviously went through all the modules, start joining the call. Still remember my first ever role play, bro. Car crash material, absolute car crash. But yeah, I went through all the modules. Obviously, you're there whenever I needed at all. You know what I mean? You were always straight on answering any questions from me, helping me, give me a push in the right direction anytime I ever needed it. And yeah, like it's sales, you broke it down into a simple to follow structure. And that's really what it is. Like, you know what I mean? Just follow this structure and practice, and you'll actually get the results that you're looking for, you know. But you need to do the work, obviously, as well, bro. But
100%.
yeah, I think it was joining all the calls, you know, doing the work. And then obviously I had time on my side, whereas I was all in. So I was literally just going ham on it. You know what I mean? Like I told you before, bro, like when I was practicing all this stuff, I'd like take the discovery, I'd write the discovery out 30 times before I went to bed. I'd pick an objection and think about it. I'd write it out 30, 40 times before I went to bed. I was walking around my house with sheets of paper, talking to myself. You know what I mean? And like I told you before as well, like the running joke in my house for a long time was like, so my dad does sales, but like in like a corporate setting, like you know what I mean? But like he loves all this stuff. He thinks it's gas, but he'd be like, yeah, yeah. I just need to think about it. And then we'd start ripping objections then in the kitchen and stuff. So I was always just programming my mind from the very, very beginning of just embracing it, embodying it. And like as much as I could consume, that's what I was doing. And I think that helped me a lot.
Yeah, massively. And I saw that in the way that you showed up, like every coaching call, you were there. Every time I asked if there's a question, you would put your hand up. Every time I asked if someone to role play, you were gonna just step in, and it shows exactly to where we've gotten to today. So you were at a point where you're writing down objections, practicing them every single night. You're attending coaching calls all the time, role playing, practicing with your parents, with your family, right? With relatives. What was like your role play schedule looking like as well? Like how regularly were you training? Was it on a daily basis? Like what did that look like?
All day, every day, all day,
Okay.
every day. And like that as well, like just to touch on like the actual community and everything that you've actually built. Like there's some fantastic and amazing people in that community. Like there really is. Like I've met some really, really good friends inside there as well that we all stay in contact. We all touch base with each other. We're all helping each other get the foot up on the ladder. But like that, like when you're surrounded with other people who are all trying to achieve a similar mission to yourself, like it's just like, you know, it's like you've already known them without actually knowing them, if that makes sense. And then like having people that like you can just jump on Zoom with, okay, cool. What are we going to drill today? What are we going to do here? And just constant repetition over and over and over again. And I think that's what the key is.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you want a level 10 result, a 10K a month result, you have to have a 10K a month effort, as I speak about all the time. So take us through the offers, right? The offers that you took, what went wrong, what went right. Because again, the thing that I like to showcase a lot of the times, which to me is, other, I guess, gurus or I guess marketers, I'd call them, wouldn't say to highlight how difficult the journey is. But the reason why the people I work with get such great results is because they understand how difficult it is. And then it's not an overnight thing. And if you're watching this and you're seeing results like this over a year plus, I would do anything to be in that position. Like if I knew that for a sure fact that I could hit 10K a month plus forever,
Yeah,
after a year of work, take that any day of the week, right? Geographical freedom, remote work, like it's actually insane the amount of opportunity that we're sitting on with high ticket sales or sales as a career, but particularly with the info community and that market. So yeah, walk us through like how many bad offers did you take? How many times did you get kicked in the dick? Like just like absolutely spat in the face, like you were so close and then it was ripped away from you. Like walk us through.
100%, man, 100%. I just thinking as well, it was the 14th of March last year when I joined, which is crazy.
Crazy. Full circle moment. Today's the 16th of March for those are wondering when we're recording this. It's
Crazy,
crazy.
crazy. Well, yeah, man. The first thing I'll preface with all these offers is like now when I look back in hindsight, like I said in that post, like every single bad offer, every single like experience that I went through was a lesson. And it prepped me in regards to what I moved on to next because I genuinely did learn something from someone, from the process, from a call, whatever it may be. I learned something and I carried it then forward into the next one. I was like, okay, cool, don't make that mistake again. Okay, great, and then build on it. But like, yeah, but like, I've been through a lot of offers, and like I said, each one of them, like I don't want to like put push shade on any offers or whatever, but like they they all taught me an experience. But like I made no money for a long, long time, for like 10 months, maybe
Yep.
months, like
Yeah.
a long, long time. I was making a couple of $100 here and there, but like not enough to not enough to be doing anything crazy with. But
Yeah.
I was okay with that because you had prefaced me that already. Like you told me that this was gonna be the route, But like I think the main thing for a lot of people is like it's a mental game. It really is a mental game because like I think you need to be in a certain mind frame, whereas in like when things are going wrong, you need to just be able to trust the process because like been many times where I wanted to quit, question my existence, everything. I was just like, whoa, what am I even doing here? Like, did I make the right choice? It really gets in on you mentally, but I think like that's a skill in itself, being able to like zoom out and be like, okay, cool. Remember why you're actually doing this. Remember why you started in the first place, and then just to continue to do the steps of regardless of how you feel. But I don't know. I can't remember how many offers I've been on, but I've been on a few. I've been on a
On a lot.
yeah, on
Yeah, for
a
sure.
lot, bro.
Yeah, it's as I talk about all the time, it's like so many I guess gurus, I can kind of be lumped into that category now, but I would call them marketers, right? Marketers, people who never really did the career themselves. Maybe they did it for 6 months, 12 months, maybe even a bit beyond a year, but they never really experienced the full span of the industry. So they never really got
Yeah.
all the lessons they needed to. And this is something I talk about all the time, which is that where a lot of the transformation is going to happen with you in this space, with sales traditionally, or even here, is the offer that you are on. If you get good at finding the right offers and you get good at closing them, so interviewing, and you get good at asking the right questions, that's often really what is because over time, what I find with most clients, successful clients, is their sales skill builds over time once they take a couple bad offers. And once they're ready to find the good offer, that's when it comes through because they're ready to take advantage of it. Um, but like you said, every bad offer that you take, you learn what you don't want. And
Yeah.
there's a different experiential learning as opposed to conceptually. Like I can tell you what to look for, but until you experience that of just like you're told something and then you get in and it's the opposite, or it's like you didn't ask a question that would have been very helpful for clarification. Like for example, if you're an appointment setter, a very important question to ask is what's the current closes close rate and what is it on average? Because again, you can set 30 appointments for somebody, but if they can't close any of them, then you're not going to make any money. So
Yeah.
this stuff just happens experientially, as you learn it over time. So you got better and better at like screening offers and building up your skill level, which was great. And what just to give the guys some context, like what type of industries did you work in up until the offer that you're on now?
So I've done fitness, affiliate marketing, trading, ecom, uh, crypto, and now the offer that I'm on now.
Crazy.
Like one or two of each, like one or two ecom, one or two fitness. But yeah, they're the kind of main industries that I was in. But like what you said there is super, super important. The
Mm,
vehicle that you're in really, really does matter. Like it
yeah.
probably supersedes everything else, to be honest with you, because like you can be shit at sales, but like if you're on something that actually has fulfillment, it actually is genuinely does what it says on the tin, you're gonna make money. You know what I mean? But like you might not last there that long if you're terrible, but like you'll make money nevertheless. But the vehicle that you're in is super, super important. You know what I mean? Because like you can really get to point A to point B very, very quickly if you're in the right vehicle. Like I always used to like to use the analogy, like if you're in a 1998 Corolla, you're not going to get there too fast. You might have a couple of blown out tires or the car might break down. But if you're in a Ferrari, You're going to get to point A to point B very, very quickly. And I think it's about choosing that vehicle. I'd nearly like what I say to a lot of new guys that start is like I'd always just take my time now. If I was to go back, I'd really take my time and not take anything unless I was really, really sure. And then obviously like the fact that you're there as well, being like, okay, cool, what do you think it is offer? Getting your advice, your knowledge over the years, and you being like, yeah, cool, I think it's good, maybe go for it, or I'd stay away. I think it's really taken that time because I wasted a lot of time on these offers. Now, when I look back, it was all learning, but like I probably could have got to point A to point B a little bit quicker if I didn't waste too much time, but it was just part of the journey, I guess.
Yeah, I mean that happens a lot with clients. They just don't communicate, message. So, just getting excited and jumping the gun. Like I'm pretty sure it happens with literally every single client. The first offer is always the one. It's always the one. It's like you think that you found this dream boat opportunity. It's always some shitty cold calling, messaging
Yeah.
opportunity where you think that you're going to make $1 million, where it's just an actual fact, not the case. So if you are a client watching this, and you're new, always reach out to me and just ask and double check and confirm. It can save you weeks, months, 6 months of your time. So that's the whole point of why I'm there. So one of your biggest learnings was screening offers and taking things slow. What else do you think would be coupled with some of your biggest learnings so far?
So the biggest thing for me was like sales is a mirror. And like what I mean by that is like sales is about more so about like, yes, your skills are important, choosing the right vehicle is important, yes. But like how you actually show up to these calls with these people is like is the biggest thing because like think about it like if you're not congruent in your own actions and the way you live your life like who are you to actually help someone else change their life because they can sense it from you. So like if someone's telling you, oh, I need to think about it, like you're obviously probably giving them a vibe that you're not confident, you don't have the conviction, the certainty in your own abilities to actually guide this person through a process to make a decision to better them and the family's life. So I think congruency is a big thing, you know. And I was like, okay, cool. Like I'm actually gonna be the person that I'm portraying myself to be in a sense. You know what I mean? I'm gonna make sure that I eat good, I train, I do the extracurricular activities, whereas in like training with any sort of sales stuff. I'm gonna make sure that I'm congruent. And then also as well, like where we discussed about the book and 78 days of reality transurfing, like that's I've been reading that a lot. And like that's helped me out a lot. And about
Mm,
like managing your frequency and like not getting sucked into like destructive pendulums and like this stuff is super important. You know what I mean? Like not taking any bad energy from one call into the next and just being present in the moment. I think they're super important things because like one thing I've noticed is if people like you, they'll just buy. Like they really will. If they just actually like you, you can make them laugh, you're genuine, you listen, you actually understand their concerns and they actually like you, they'll just buy, you know? And it really is as easy as that. But to that point, that comes with a certain confidence and a conviction in yourself that you've done the work, you know what you're talking about. Um, and I think that's been a big thing for me.
I think that's huge for, people that are watching this that are currently within the industry as well, or you're looking to get into it. I agree strongly that congruence is super important. A lot of people are asking their prospects to do what they won't themselves, and it's a direct reflection. And that's why I think a lot of people don't actually like sales, is because it is a direct mirror, and it's an ugly one if you're an ugly person in the way that not your physical features, but the way that you show up, your limiting beliefs, your bad behaviors, your personal development, it all shows up in sales. And that's why it is ultimately one of the best personal development vehicles you can have because it will tear you down piece by piece by piece, and it will make sure that you are the person that you need to be to make the money you want to make because you can't without having the level of identity that's required for the amount of income that you want. Sales and business is a direct mirror of who you are. There's no ifs or buts about it.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I totally agree with you. And like I think for me, like starting in the online space, like from the beginning to now where I am, I don't have one limiting belief. Zero, none. Because like I know there's levels to the game. Like, yes, the money I'm making now is fantastic, but like there's people out there and they're doing like 100K a day, 100K months, a million a month. Like anything is possible. But it all boils back down to what we touched on before that is like the sacrifice that you're willing to make to get to that point. That's the needle mover, But like there's like if I can do this, anyone can do it. Like I didn't even own a laptop last year.
Yeah,
I've never
exactly.
had a laptop. That was the first laptop I ever bought,
Mm.
and a secondhand piece of crap, but it served me well. But yeah, like if I can do it, like I literally came from a construction site, you know what I mean? I had never done anything online before, no laptop. And yeah, here I am now, like, but to get to that point is the difficult part, like, you know what I mean? But literally anyone can do it. Just whether you're willing to put in the work or not.
Did you do any like university or college or anything about after school? None of that at all.
I repeated my exams twice and I done worse the second time around, bro.
Yeah. Like that's what I want to point out to people who are watching it. It's just like, I failed science and barely passed maths in high school, never did university or college either. Um, it's really in today's world, digital world, modern world, like it's not about what you've learned in a book, it's the skills you have. And again, a lot of my clients I work with have never gone to university or college before. They haven't completed their degree. They don't have any of this stuff, yet they outpace and out earn their friends and their family by light years just because they have one skill that allows them to add value to the marketplace, thus get paid more.
100%, 100%. And like, I think the more time goes on, I think a lot of people are coming to this realization. But like, I think the hardest thing for a lot of people is like finding number one, the vehicle, finding someone that they trust to allow them to step into the vehicle and maybe drive them for the first couple of steps. I think like that's the hardest things for a lot of people. But like, what I would say is that like, if you never take any action, you won't get any results. Like imperfect action is better than anything at all. Like even I at the start, like I wasn't too sure of what way this was going to go, but I just said, F it, I'm going to do something. And if it fails, it fails. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Happy days. But like if
Yeah.
I never had taken that step, I wouldn't be where I am now. Like, I'd probably still be on a construction site miserable, you know?
100%. And that's the mentality to have, right? And I've seen that in the way that you show up in the training, and that's how I did it back when I got started 5 years ago. It was just like didn't know what I was doing, but I knew that doing something was better than nothing. And I don't mean just by taking the big step into like selecting high ticket sales, for example, and jumping through with it. I mean, once you've decided to jump in, I see too many people hesitate, go too slow, procrastinate, get in their mind about what they should or shouldn't do. It's like you've just got to go out there and fail. And success is built up off of undesirable results. Like you're not going to get the 10K paycheck right away. That's not how it happens. It's not overnight. And you just have to bit by bit just do the stuff, even if it sucks and even if you fail that's that's where the magic happens, unfortunately. And I think that is a single reason why most people fail making money online. That and the stuff you said earlier about the people who are not as committed as they think they are, and they're not ready to make the sacrifice and the effort that's required for the result they want.
100%, man. 100%. I think that's a huge used thing, like, you know what I mean? And I see it time and time and time again. Like people will say, oh, I want to do this and I want to do that. But like, do you really want to do it?
Yeah.
Because like, your actions say differently. Like to give an example, like, for the last year, I've just not left this room. 16 hours a day, 17 hours a day, no friends, no going out, no nothing. No
Mhm.
barely don't see my family too much. Try to when I can, but like, this room, this laptop, and this game is all I've been consuming for day in, day out for a year. And like that's what it takes. I cut everything out of my life. Like I don't drink alcohol, I don't do anything. I literally just sit in this room and do the work and that's it. And I'm prepared to do that for another year, another 2 years if I have to. But I know at
Yeah.
the end of that point that I'm going to be very close to where I want to be and be able to pivot then and make a decision on what's next. And I also
Mm.
like what you mentioned at the start as well about like sales reps and people getting burnt out. And like the reason why I think that is because like they don't have an end game. They don't know what they're working towards. And like I
Yeah.
always remember you telling me that before as well, is like building out a vision of where you actually see yourself. Like
Hmm.
what are you actually working towards? And I think like when you have that plan, that vision of where you want to go, every day is a little bit easier then because you know you've just taken another step to get to where the end goal is. So like I think that's a super important thing as well, bro.
I think that's a fantastic thing to point out because um, you're so right. If you don't have a vision, this is not going to work for you, right? The reason why Blaine is able to make 41K in a single month, $41,000 in a single month is just fucking ridiculous. Like, let's be perfectly candid. It's insane. And
Yeah,
only with just around a year of training, a year of failing, no experience, no degree, no certifications, no special this, no special that. Like, you just have to put in the work at the end of the day. Like, you really just have to show up.
100%, man. 100%. I totally agree with you. And like everything is there for you. Like everything is in that online student portal. It's all there. You know what I mean? Like you're there. Like the other coaches are there. Like everybody's there to help you. Like all you literally have to do is just do the work. Like that's it. You literally just have to show up and do the work because nobody else can do that for you. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like, I think as well, like having a why of like why you're actually doing this because like if the reason why you're not doing it isn't bad enough for you to succeed, you won't succeed.
Yeah.
That's a fact. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you're looking to just make 10K a month and that's it, that's the reason why you're doing this. If that 10K is the only thing you have as a goal in your mind, it's not enough. Like it's just not enough. Like people
Well,
come and they go in this industry, high ticket sales, making money online. That's why most people fail because they don't they don't have that vision, as you said, and therefore they're not understanding what they're like really willing to sacrifice to get to that point. Like they don't understand what is the burning desire. Like they're not willing to run over broken glass or run out of a burning building. It's a nice to have, and to make this work, it can't be a nice to have. It's a I have to have. Like it's a obligation needs to happen. You know what I mean?
absolutely. And like I see like a common thing, like a common theme. Like I think like people that do succeed with this, like they've often experienced some form of like disaster, trauma, like something's gone on where they're like saying like I'm not going back here. I don't care. Whatever happens, I'm not going back here. I'm going over here. So like I think that's the thing as well. Like and like at the end of the day, like yeah, oh 10K is fantastic. It's a nice amount of money, but like I said, like there's levels to it. There really is levels to it. Like, and if you can dedicate 2 years, 3 years of your life, you'll be in a very, very, very good position. Whereas then, like, you're in the top 5% probably in the world.
Absolutely. Um, Yeah, 100%. And it's not the 30, 60, 90 days that all these marketers talk about. No.
Yeah.
But like the same question I've posed to you guys on calls all the time, many, many times, is that if you knew that at least at the bare minimum, after a year of failing, trying, and just bad offer to bad offer, getting your skills up, just working hard at this and just failing again and again and again. If you knew that beyond a year you could make at least 10K a month, would you do it?
Yeah,
Everyone
100%.
would, right? Everyone would, because again, yes, this is the minimum. Yes, you have places where you can go to like Blaine, like this is obviously the top 1% results, but even then, that is absolutely just the beginning. So it's like if you knew that it's not like the 30, 60, 90 days, like all the marketers have said, but it's a 1, 2, 3 year journey, would it be worth it? Most people watching this would be like, absolutely, you know?
100%. Like if you like, and I think like that's the thing as well. Like like what a lot of people are looking for is like certainty. You know what I mean? But like there's no such thing as certainty really. Like you know what I mean? Like everything we do is uncertain. Like I don't know if I'm gonna walk down the stairs and fall later on. Like you know what I mean? You just don't know. But like I
Yeah.
seen someone say something that like the biggest Fortune 500 companies were built in a depression or a recession. So like what does that tell you? Is like taking action when you're uncertain is going to breed success. Like I always say to people, like to do things that you only feel comfortable will only guarantee a comfortable result. Like and that's not what you're looking for. Like you're doing this to put yourself in a position where you're like, okay, cool. Now I'm here and I don't really have to stress, worry. I can do the things that I want to do. But it's about taking uncertain action, putting in the work, following the steps, the plan, the structure, the guidance. It's a no-brainer.
100%. It always comes back to the same question. What's more risky? Your current situation or living with the what if?
Yeah,
Everything's always going to be risky. Everything's always going to be uncertain. There is nothing that's ever going to change that. Like Blaine said, we could walk outside tomorrow and get run over by a car, God forbid. But, these things happen, right? That's how life happens. Things can go one way and then completely different the next. So if you're living with that uncertainty, you're going to be living with that mediocrity. I think it's being comfortable is a breeding ground for mediocrity, as the same saying goes. So if you're
yeah,
sitting there thinking about what if, I think, Blaine and I would encourage you to take that step in some direction, whatever that direction may be. But
yeah.
I'm very curious on your opinion on this because I think this is very, very game changing because it's not only the skills you've learned in this time, but it's also the time that you've spent with successful founders and millionaires, multi-millionaires, right? You've gone working with the previous founders you've worked with, to someone who's most likely a multi-millionaire and has a seven-figure per month company. So, what's that been like being able to spend more time in proximity with those high-level people, and like, what have you learned from exposure to that?
Yeah, great question, man. Great question. The one thing I've learned, and the biggest thing for me is like these people are normal. Like they're not these like mystical creatures that like everybody thinks that they are. Like, oh, hey, this guy's like a multimillionaire. Like, no, he's just a normal dude that put in the work, that had a plan and a vision. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's like a big limit and belief breaker because like often like that type of stature or status can be like pedestalized that you think it's too far out of reach for yourself, but like it's very doable, you know. But like I said as well, it's about just putting in that work, like because they sacrificed to get there, you know what I mean, on a big level. It didn't come easy. But like also the other things that I've learned is like, you know, even from yourself, like picking your brain amongst many things, I've learned a lot. But it's like, you know, it all boils down to like the work comes first. You know what I mean? Everything else is just outside noise, you know, organization, a plan, a vision, so many different things. But like I think the biggest thing for myself was just like these are just normal people too. They're just like me. You know, there's no major difference. It's just they gave it a little bit more time. They done the work, they followed the plan, the structure, and they reinvested back into themselves every single time. Like even like
Mm,
the offer I'm on now, like this guy's like paying like 70,000 for like business coaching and like there's levels. There's really is
yeah.
levels to it, and it's always learning, always progressing. I think they're the two big things that I learned.
That's a great pickup. And I think for those of you that are watching, it's so important, in my opinion, to invest in yourself and your education to expand your earning potential when you're younger, right? A lot of people uh, think that when you're a bit younger to, invest in crypto or stocks and real estate and things like that. And it's always a smart move to start investing earlier and at a young age. But where the majority of your earning potential is going to come from is you, your skill set, who you are, and or your business if you have one, right?
Yeah,
So the more skills you have, the more you expand your earning potential. Like it's well worth it to invest 100K into your skills. And that might sound crazy to some people watching this, but again, people will spend 100K on a degree, but they won't spend 100K on themselves on self-education, right? Where you really can learn from people who are doing the stuff that you want to do, aka people like myself, aka people who help with the transition with whatever it is that you're trying to get into right now. It might be high ticket sales or it might be whatever else. Um, I've spent a ton of money on mentors. I would say, oh, I'd say at least close to a quarter million Australian by this point, like Australian dollars, so Australian pesos. So keep that in mind, guys, right? Whatever, something like half that in pounds. So you know, continuously invest in yourself is very much where a lot of your ROI is going to come from. And self-education has got me to where I am, where Blaine is. I mean, obviously he's invested in me and probably other education as well. So that's where a significant amount of your leverage has will usually come from. So it's a good thing to highlight. What does your family think about all this, bro? Like what, like 41K in a month, like what was their reaction? What are their thoughts?
Shocked,
Yeah.
shocked to be honest with you. Because like a lot of them, especially like my two brothers as well, like the youngest one as well, like he's seen everything from start to finish, like you know what I mean. Like, and my youngest brother at the minute, like he invested, like he's only 18. I think he's after putting like 16K into a fitness coaching because he's a gym freak. He loves gym, he loves all that, but he wants to be an online fitness coach. But he's seen me take that step and now get the results that I'm looking for. So like that obviously inspired him now to be like, oh, cool, I want to do something like that, but in a realm that I want to do, you know. And
Mm,
like even now, me getting to give back of like the skills I have with sales, of him like booking calls on his calendar, like teaching him how to sell to people.
that's
Like,
sick.
that's super super cool. Like I really like that. And then like it's just like to inspire them, like to show them that like you can do things like this, but like it's the work ethic that comes along with it. That's been a big part. And then obviously my mom and dad, like they're super, super proud. They're super, super happy, you know. And like for
Imagine.
me now over the next, 2 to 3 years, being able to put all of us in a really, really good spot, like that's what's driving me on every single day, you know. Because I was a fuck up for a long time. Like if I was to tell you half the things that I done, like you wouldn't believe me. But
Mm.
I messed up a lot of times, like, and I caused like a lot of stress, heartache, a lot of shit in the house over the years, like, but now for them to see me on this path and seeing success and doing the things that I'm doing, like they're super, super happy with it, yeah. And it's a good feeling. Like even like the likes I was telling you about, like going out for dinner like a couple of weeks ago and like getting the bill for all of them, like it's a nice, nice feeling to be able to do things like that, and it makes everything that you're doing worthwhile.
I think it's a dream for most, to be honest. And I remember when I started to be able to do that and not even think about that. But for the longest time, it was something that I hoped and dreamed to be able to do. But for most people watching this, that is their dream to give back to loved ones,
Yeah,
friends, family. People who've taken care of you your whole life. Brought you into this world. I think there's truly nothing more special than when you can actually do that. So. Yeah, I mean that's amazing. Covering dinner for like 8 people of your family members as well, like you said before the recording. That's truly, truly special because it's just there's really no feeling like it, to be honest.
feels good, man. It's a very, very good feeling. And I think like doing things like that is worth more to you than like buying
Yeah,
a Ferrari or buying a watch or something like that. Like that stuff is worth more to me than that type of stuff. Like don't get it twisted. Like obviously everybody likes nice stuff too. Like, but like I think that's something important as well. Because like I think when a lot of people start getting this money, they'll lose it very quickly because they don't know what to do with it in a sense. You know what I mean? Like I've often heard stories of people start making 10K a month and they just blow it all. You
yeah,
know, I think
yeah,
like ridiculous. But like I think it's like having that discipline as well to like not go near it, like live the way you've been living to get to that point for like 2, 3 years, and then say to yourself, okay, cool, now I can do something if I want to.
yeah. And that's a good pick up there as well, which is that um, you will get so much greater fulfillment helping other people, close people in your circle, loved ones, friends, family than you will buying material items or certain things. Those feelings are very, very fleeting. I can tell you myself personally. You will have it for a moment and then it's gone. It's washed off. It takes seconds and then it's the next goal. That's next goal. It's the bigger thing. It's the bigger car. It's the better lifestyle. The goalpost is always going to be moved, but where ultimately I get a lot of fulfillment, and I'm sure you do, and a lot of other people do get it from, is helping people that are close to them, which is, I think, to be honest, the true mission of everything. But what would you tell a beginner, right? We've got like a ton of learnings from like offer selection and working really hard, but if you were to sit someone down who's just beginning with all this or they're looking to get into it, like what would you tell that type of person? Like what advice would you give them?
Um, you need to go 2 feet in. It's either you all in or none. You know what I mean? Like, do not have one foot in, one foot out because it will not work and you will not get the results. You know what I mean? It's like you make a decision to yourself that I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it right. I'm going to do everything that I can to make it work. And if it doesn't work, fair enough, great. But you've actually committed and you've tried to yourself and you've made a commitment. And I think by like just making that commitment alone that you're going all in And like when I say all in, I don't mean this like bullshit all in that most people say, oh, bro, locked in. I'm locked in. No, you're not. You're not locked in, bro.
No, you're not. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. It's about like really and truly saying to yourself, right, this is it. I'm actually going to do it. And then it's like building out a plan. Okay, cool. Start at the very, very beginning. Just go through all the modules, do all the learning, ask the questions, show up to the coaching calls, every single one of them. I don't think I missed a one coaching call at the
No.
very start for at least 6 to 7 months till I start getting on offers and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
show up to every single coaching call. Put yourself out there. You know what I mean? Like even I remember that for like I said, like I remember that first role play call, man. I was shitting it. You know what I mean? I didn't know what I was gonna say, what I was gonna do. I didn't have a clue what I was talking about. But it's just putting yourself out there. You know what I mean? Like everybody's gonna be terrible. I've never seen one person that's a savant on the very first day. We all start in the exact same position.
Mm.
We all suck for a couple of weeks, but it's like compound interest, the snowball effect. So number one, all in. Number two, show up, do the work, go to all the coaching calls. And then probably the most part, utilize yourself. Like you're here at the end of the day to help each and every single student. So like why they wouldn't come to you all the time with questions, what do you mean by this? How do I get better at this? Yada, 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 whatever it may be. Like utilizing yourself to the highest standards. Um, After that as well, then building out a plan for yourself. Like for yourself, if you're just starting off, like break it down like into smaller increments and be like, okay, cool. This month I want to have achieved this goal. Whether it's I know how to handle a think about objection, or I know where to go in my discovery, or and I know the probable and clarifying questions, whatever it may be. Break it down into these smaller increments at the start. And then as you get to an offer, you can widen out the goal and then have something to be working towards. I feel like they're probably the most important things to get the wheels turning.
That's good suggestions from the guy that makes 41K US a month. I think some people should listen to some of the advice that you have. I agree. Um, and one thing as well to add, the utilization of myself, which is something I want to emphasize the importance of. I've heard amongst the weeds and I've heard amongst I don't even know what I'm going to use, but different chains of people that there's been quite a few people that have been considering joining the RSA, but they think that you're just a number. It's super important to understand. It's the 16th of March at the time of this recording, 2025. This is our 33rd case study on the channel. You guys are going to see so many more. There's like 40, we're going to be at 40 very, very, very soon. We've got so many people that have hit their first 10K month this month and
Yeah,
more.
100%.
Um, RSA is still a one-on-one training program. It's still working with me. It's still getting the attention support that you need. It's still messaging me on a daily basis. This is not a point where it's some type of mass marketed group where we have thousands of people that I've got to attend to. It's just you can get the help and the support that you need one-on-one with a guy that's been doing this for 5 years. I just want to be super clear for someone that might be considering watching sidelines to get
100%.
that type of support is like unheard of, really across the board, because most people, where I think I stand out the most, is that most people have made a conscious effort to make a mass marketed program, which is nothing wrong with that. Everybody likes more money. But to me, the reason why the RSA has worked so well for such a long time is you get that connection, that intimate level of like communication and help, and you get to work with the person who you are watching on these interviews, who you're watching on the YouTube channel all the time. I get it. You're going to listen to the guy that you've been consuming content with. I get it. Like I hate nothing more than joining a training program and listening to someone else's team. I get it. But
Yeah,
I want to work with the guy that I trust and I know that is actually getting the results. I don't want to be thrown in the deep end with a group training program. So just want to emphasize that in case you were wondering and you're curious watching this. That
100%.
that moves me over to asking about the feedback on that aspect. We can start there. Like,
Yep,
what's your overall feedback been like in terms of us, our communication, responsiveness, detailed communication? Dive into some of that.
100%. So like I'll preface by starting off saying like best thing I ever done in my whole entire life. Anybody that's sitting on the fence, take the finger out of your ass and just join. That's as simple as that. It's the best thing I ever done with my whole entire life, and I genuinely mean that. And then like to touch back on like the communication things and stuff like that, like I totally agree. I would never do anything again that doesn't offer the level of support that was offered here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, as we built up our relationship and we got to know each other self over the year, like we have each other on WhatsApp now. I can always text you. Same with Lucas as well. I can text either of you. I can text anybody there, and you're going to be back to me. Like, obviously, if you're doing something, like obviously it's going to take you half an hour or something, but that's sweet. That's normal. But
Yeah.
yeah, just like constantly, you'll always answer my questions. You'll call me. You'll voice like anything that I need from you, you'll help in any shape or way, form that you can. You know what I mean? And I've seen that time and time and time again. You've had my back since the very, very beginning. You know what I mean? You always bet on me, referring me, helping me. Anything that I needed, you gave. You know what I mean? And more. You know, and still to this day, like you're still putting me up for success. You're still helping me out, give me a leg up wherever you can, bro. But no, honestly, like I genuinely mean that. Like, you know what I mean? Because I've seen that with a lot of group programs as well, like from buddies that have done not even sales related, but like you're thrown into a cattle mart and you're left to fend for yourself, you know what I mean? And like I said at the start, like the one thing that I really resonated with you was that like you were not flashy, you were very honest. You're like, this is hard, it's gonna take time, but if you just follow the steps, you'll get the work, you know, or you get the results, so to say. And I really, really like that. So yeah, anybody that's like apprehensive about joining or they're a little bit worried, don't be. You're in good hands, trust me. Um, but yeah, that and then everything else like very, very structured, very, very organized. Everything has its place, its time, its rationale of why it's there. Like nothing is there for no reason. Everything that Connor and like anything that you're being taught inside here, you're being taught for a reason. It's not just there just as like a filler. Everything
Yeah.
is there for a specific reason. So like, you know, and then another thing as well, bro, is like ego. Like drop the ego. I see this a lot as well. That like you know, I think like you can get to a certain point and then you think like, oh, I know this now, you know. But like you don't, bro. You really know fuck all. You know what I mean? Like you're better off listening to someone who's like yourself, been here for 5 years. You've seen the highs, you've seen the lows. You know what I mean? You're not saying out for the goodness of your heart. Like you know what I mean? You're telling these people because you've lived it. You know, and for them to like not take that advice on board and think that they know better is asinine, you know. So I
Yeah.
think like
100%.
taking your advice, listening to everything that you say, and yeah, really just following the steps. I've nothing but good things to say. You know, I'm the number one fan, bro.
Course. Yeah. I mean, I can imagine going from 0 to 41K a month in, just over a year is an insane result.
Oh,
But yeah, I think I'll ask from your perspective here in a second, but the difference I find with what I've built with the RSA, and the whole community in general is just the fact that if you show up and you put in the effort, I just care. And the reason I care is not just because I'm a good person or whatever, but it's because I have lived and breathed this transformation for such a long time. I know how hard it is. I know every corner. I know every struggle. I know every mindset. I know every setback. I know every problem that you're going to encounter tenfold. And as some of my 19-year-old clients would say, shout out to Bao, saying, Connor thugged it out so we don't have to, because that's exactly what I did. Like, I went through and ate shit. Like, I think it was, oh, I can't even remember when I hit my first 10K month. I'd just been going at it for so long. It was just like a blip, to be honest. But like, to the point where I made like my first 5K month would have been like 8 months in or nine, 10, something like that. I can't honestly remember. Um, and it took me a long time to get even to half of where you're at now, right? So really, honestly and truly, if you're watching this, you can do your research, you can have a look around, but I cannot find a single person who's been doing this for as long as I have and has the track record that I have. We've got, at this point of recording, this is the 33rd case study in just under 2 years, I think. We're heading pacing for 40. Goal is 60 by the end of the year. There are people with thousands of students that have half the amount of results we have. I genuinely haven't seen uh, many, if any, people at all. Happy to be corrected if I'm wrong, but many people with the community size, which is important, We have 250 members around this time of recording. The time they've been around, just
Yeah.
have this amount of results. I just haven't seen it.
100%, man. 100%. I totally agree with you. And like, I think like if you utilize, like, there's, you know, as well as I do as well, like, you know, like in the sales space, there's a lot of just mediocre, like a
Yeah.
lot of just mediocre. And it's not hard to get to the top. Well, it is hard to get to the top, but it's not hard to stay there if you're willing to put in the work, is what I mean. Like, you know,
You just have to walk. That's it.
literally, literally. And that's funny that you say that. I always remember you saying that to me as well. Like, and I was like, bro, I was like, I'm not getting these results. I don't know what to do. Yada yada. You're bro, just keep walking. Just keep walking. One foot in front of the other, day by day. And I was like, okay, cool. I'll just keep doing it. You know what I mean? Like, and that's to bring back to the last touch point. Like any of them times where I was like struggling mentally, or I was finding things hard, or it was going belly up in a sense. But like, you were just keep walking, bro. Just keep putting one foot in front of the other. And then here we are.
Here we are. You blinked and now a year later you're crushing it, and one more year of this, couple months of this is enough to set you up for a long time to eventually decide what you want to do after that, which many people are never in the position where they can do that. Most people watching this, most people worldwide, especially at a young age, will never have the amount of savings like 10K, 20K plus in the bank account. You know,
Crazy,
two,
man.
three, four times that in a month. And you go to travel the world soon, go where you want to, move away from Ireland, go to where you want to live in the world. It opens up so much opportunity when you put in 6 to 12 months worth of just brutal, brutal work. You can set yourself up for a very, very, very bright future. So you're in a very, very good spot to be. I kind of touched on it myself, but um, you have probably met a lot of people in the space that are outside of the RSA as well.
Yeah.
What do you say that you've probably seen from personal experience is the main difference between RSA and everything else that's out there?
I'd say the main difference is like you can definitely see the quality of a rep with a mentor that he's had. 100%. 100% without a shadow of a doubt. And like that even comes from like I feel like I've developed as a person from even just being in proximity with you, and like the
Mm.
coaching that I've got and everything like that. Like everything has really changed. Like mine's like even the way I think, like you know what I mean? Like everything has changed by just being surrounded with other winners, you know? And you can definitely see the quality in a rep or even in a person from the training and the experience that they've been through, because like it's like anything, like you know what I mean. Yes, there is like there's probably some good coaches, there's probably some bad coaches as well, you know what I mean, but like you can definitely tell the quality of a person and the training that they've received. 100%. And I think what stands out for us as a community as well, and like you, is like you put, like if someone's committed and they're showing up and they're doing the work, like you'll give them everything, you know what I mean? You'll help them out in any way that you possibly can. And it shows in the results that we have. Like a lot of 30K results, a lot of 20s, a lot of 10s, you know what I mean? Everybody's winning, but each one of those people put in the work, you know? And then
Yeah.
like when you seen them put in the work, you obviously gave yourself to them and was like, okay, cool, this person's committed, let me help them, you know. But it's hard to give it. It's hard to like give everything to a person that just shows up willy nilly here and there and watches 15 minutes of a module and goes back onto TikTok. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. The amount of people that I've spoken to that have told me they've not even watched 20% of the training. It's crazy. So if you're watching this wondering, um, it's not just like the joining of the RSA that's to garner my attention. Like you have to be showing up. Like money is only a step, and you have to, if you're considering doing this, it's not just paying me money, it's not just joining the RSA. You have to participate, right?
Yeah,
You have to show up. Blaine was on every single coaching call. He's always ready for a question. He's always participating. Like that's truly what I think is required to win. And if you're considering joining, that's the mindset that you should have. It is to show up to every coaching call, to ask questions, to be attentive, and do the work that's required. Because if you can show up in the way that's Blaine shown up as, who knows where you could be 6 to 12 months from now? I think that's really key to take in consideration. If there was one final thing before we tie off the interview today, what would be some final notes that you wanted to share with the guys to kind of tie off the interview today.
Nice. Yeah, no, 100%, bro. Like I literally am a firm believer. Like you can change your full entire life in 12 months. You literally can. You can change everything in 12 months. Like if you just literally just block everything else out, focus on take the first step and actually make the move. That's the first thing. Take the first step, make the move, and then just literally just block everything out for 12 months. Sacrifice. You can do a full 360 in your whole entire life, which is insane to say,
Yeah.
but it is possible. It's very, very possible, but it's just about the commitment to the change and then making the move to do the work.
If Blaine and I can do it, then you can do it as well. You know,
I can do
no, no
it.
university, no college education, no experience, complete beginners. Like, if we can do it, then you can absolutely do it as well. I can't speak for Blaine, but I can certainly speak for myself. I'm definitely not the sharpest tool in the shed when it comes to academically. So, I don't want to put myself down, but that's just the way that it is. Like, if we can do it, you can do it as well. You can use that as inspiration. But yeah, guys, we'll tie off there today. Hopefully, you found a lot of value in that. I'm sure that you did, considering where Blaine is at, top 0.1% of the industry. So I'm sure there was a lot of really, really great takeaways. Um, if you want to get the results like Blaine, you know where to find me. There'll be a link down in the description. Uh, Pop in your details in a quick application form. We'll see if you're a fit. Me or my team will be having the call with you. Put some effort in your application. If you say the reason you want to join RSA is make more money, we will cancel it. So give it a little bit of effort. Trust me, we don't need clients, but we would love to work with the right people. So put some effort in your application. If you're curious, if you want to get the same transformation like I have and Blaine has and all the other case studies, you know where to find us. So,
Sure.
guys, Blaine, thanks for joining us, brother. I think that was super valuable. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one.
100%. Appreciate you too, broski. Appreciate you having me on the channel. And everyone that's watching this, make the move, take the step, fill out the application, do what you need to do. 12 months' time, you can do a full 360.
100%. You heard it from Blaine, not me, guys. This time.
Keep
All right.
it
We'll see you in the next one.